Perez Hilton here, Team The Truth. And the more that I went through Justin Baldoni's 90-plus page lawsuit against the New York Times, the more that I was impressed at the volume of receipts that he included. His lawsuit had way more receipts, never before heard information, full text messages. Hers had way less. He came through, he came prepared, and his lawyer said recently that there's even more receipts that he has, and he might unload them all on a website. Do it, do it, do it. As many of you know by now, Blake Lively has alleged sexual harassment against Justin Baldoni, her co-star, director, and producer in the movie It Ends With Us. She had a whole litany of allegations against him in her lawsuit, which he pretty much countered point by point in his lawsuit. Body shaming her. He has back problems and was asking his trainer for a guesstimate so that he could perform a stunt safely. He came into her trailer while she was pumping breast milk. He included a text message of her inviting him to rehearse lines in her trailer while she was pumping. He was making a big deal about her appearance. He got notes from the studio. Well, now in his lawsuit against the New York Times for running the edited text messages and information that came from Blake Lively's camp, Justin Baldoni is sharing his theory. What happened? He claims that she made up the allegations of sexual harassment because she got on a power trip and took over his movie, took control in so many aspects of the film that he was directing, that he was producing, the book that he found to turn into a movie. What she was doing, even though she got a producer credit, is highly unusual. As I have stated before, when an actor in this kind of role, in this kind of movie, after it's already been greenlit, gets a producer credit, it's usually just a vanity thing, just to make them happy, or another way to pay them extra money if the film does well at the box office. It's rare for an actor with her producer credit in this situation to get as much control as she did. Remember, I've told you, she got control of so much, from the film's soundtrack to her wardrobe to even the edit. She hired her own editor, even though she's not the director of the movie or the main producer. She had the studio test it, and even though his cut tested better, she had her way with the studio and they released her version. Well, Baldoni has finally spoken and said so much in this lawsuit against the New York Times. He says, quote, through his lawyer, "The Times' story relied almost entirely on Lively's unverified and self-serving narrative, lifting it nearly verbatim while disregarding an abundance of evidence that contradicted her claims and exposed her true motives." Her true motives? Power, control. The lawsuit claims that Ryan Reynolds' wife made up all of her allegations because they were a calculated and audacious attempt to seize control of the film. The Times willingly omits any meaningful discussion of the true source of tension between Lively and plaintiffs, which was Lively's brazen and calculated effort to expropriate the film. Pause. Remember, she's not just suing Justin Baldoni, she's suing one of his producers and other people as well, like the publicists. Whew, so many players. I love it. Telenovela. The lawsuit continues. Notably absent from the Times' narrative is Lively's insistence on obtaining editing privileges and demanding her own version of the film, a departure from industry standards. That's a fact. He is saying she wanted control of the film, and through her tactics, she got it. And he included a lot of receipts to back up what he is saying. For example, this exchange between him and his publicist, Jen Abel. He texted her, "She's kicked me out officially from the film now. She's finishing it all. I can't be involved. Music, sound, VFX, everything. I'll make it through somehow. Just need to feel it all." In a group text exchange to the two editors that originally worked on cutting the film, he told them, "Just curious if you guys have peeked at her cut and if anything has changed." Editor number 2 said, "I have just been told that we are not permitted to look." Baldoni responds, "Haha, wow, when did that happen?" Editor number 1 says, "As per Sony." Editor number 2 responds, "This evening." Baldoni then responds to them both, "Wow, okay then. The editors and director isn't allowed to look at an actress's cut. Got it. Well, here we go. We will keep taking the high road," he said. Baldoni, in his lawsuit against the Times, claims that her sexual harassment claims were orchestrated, purposeful mischaracterizations of innocent conversations on set. The lawsuit says, "The fact is that Lively embarked on a hostile takeover of the production, strong-arming Sony into blessing her with ultimate control. As they became increasingly frantic and unsettled by the usurpation of their roles, Baldoni remained resolute that they continue to take the high road and be proud of the beautiful baby they had all made together. Notwithstanding, Lively waged war on Baldoni, weaponizing innocuous interactions from May and June 2023, long before there was any tension between them, to vilify and discredit him." And circling it all back to the Times and his lawsuit, Baldoni, through his lawyer, says that the paper's, quote, "willful omission of these critical details not only distorts the truth, but also perpetuates a false narrative that conveniently absolves Lively of her own culpability in the unraveling of professional relationships and the upheaval surrounding the film." I mean, creative differences is pretty common, but what happened on It Ends With Us? This needs to be a 3-part TV series. I need to do this. Can a streamer or a broadcast network or somebody hit me up? Let's make this happen. Thoughts on this tea that he has spilled? Let me know your response to this video in the comments.